Welcome to the Legalpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Sager, founder and CEO of Legalpreneur Inc. As a serial entrepreneur and someone that works exclusively with small business owners legally protecting their business, I'm dedicated to covering common legal issues faced by business owners, providing you with the business knowledge you need to catapult your business's growth and showing you just how some of the world's most elite entrepreneurs have handled these legal and business issues themselves. In true attorney fashion, the information in this episode is not legal advice. This is for informational purposes only, and you should always consult with your attorney before implementing any of the information in the show. Hey there, welcome back to the Legalpreneur Podcast. I'm actually going to do something really cool that I've never done, and it's going to be Q&A. It's coming straight from TikTok. I was trying to think okay, what should I actually talk about on today's podcast? And I said, okay, I know I get a lot of questions on social media. Let me go look at some questions. And I said, hey, let me just do a Q&A episode. So I'm going to try this out. We'll see if it works. If it does, I will keep doing these. So it's all coming straight from TikTok. I just asked for questions on the gram. So if you ask questions anywhere, maybe you will hear your question answered on an upcoming episode of the Legalpreneur Podcast. So we have a number of questions. The first one, so all these today are from TikTok. The first one is Life of Kells. If you can't afford to register as a federal trademark, can you do a state one first, then transition to federal? This is a great question. I get it all the time. This is the first question I saw, and I was like, oh, such a good question to answer on the podcast. So yes, you can. However, federal trademark protection will trump state protection any day of the week. So if you have a state trademark, but somebody has a federal trademark, they're going to win any day of the week. But then, of course, it gets a little more complicated than that, because ultimately it comes down to who was in business first. Then it gets a little more complicated than that, because then it comes down to, well, if you have priority, but you waited too long, you waited past the certain amount of time where you can petition to cancel a trademark based on priority, then you actually can't get federal trademark protection at that point. So there's a lot of things that go into it when it comes to state versus federal. If you're eligible for federal protection, you want to get that protection as soon as possible. Now, I know working with an attorney can get really pricey. I completely understand that. And for small businesses, it's scary because you're like, hey, I want my brand to blow up. Eventually, hopefully it will blow up. But if I can't afford the protection right now, even though I know I need protection, what do? I can't afford to work with an attorney. Completely understandable. You can always DIY, do it yourself. The filing fee on the trademark website, uspto.gov, it's $250 if you use the T's Plus application. And if you're like, okay, that sounds great, but I have no idea how to DIY, we have our trademark course. Just go to the trademarkcourse.com. We walk you through everything. There's 6 modules. You only have to get through the first 3 in order to file your application. So I always tell people, hey, get the course today, file your first application tonight. And you don't have to purchase a new course for every trademark. That course will cover all of your trademarks. And the great thing about the course is you actually use it to help you create new names for your business. So if you have things that aren't currently eligible for protection, we give some amazing tips and tricks on how to create those names in order to find something that can be protected with a trademark. So, yes, you can go for state protection. However, if you're eligible for federal protection, you always want that. Okay, another question. This is by, Life of Kells again. Thank you, Kells, for sending all the amazing questions. Can you have more than one brand/business that is not in the same field under the same LLC? Example, a cosmetics brand and an apparel brand. Thanks. So I get this question a lot, and it all goes down to your level of risk. So ultimately, yes, you can have any type of business under the same LLC. However, that can be very, very risky. And it comes down to risk. How much risk are you willing to tolerate? Now, the easiest way to illustrate this is if you have like an e-commerce brand. So let's say you do have a cosmetics brand that you're selling through e-commerce, and then you have real estate. Those are way two completely different risk levels. You do not want them under the same LLC. However, if you have cosmetics and an apparel brand, those are similar risk levels, especially if they both are e-commerce. So it gets tricky because yes, you can have them under the same LLC. However, if you want your risk level to be as low as possible, you do want to have them under separate LLCs. However, if it's the same brand, you're just selling different products, then you may want them under the same LLC. Maybe later on, if they both are generating, a significant amount, then you want to separate them out into different LLCs. But if they're both the same brand, just selling different types of products, then you probably do want to keep them under the same LLC for now. Now, the last question that I'm going to answer here is from Sarah_Sal. She said, is selling designs for Starbucks cups and selling them legal? I see a lot of them on my FYP, which if you're not a huge TikTok fan like me, or if you're not on TikTok, then you may not know that FYP is For You page, which is where you can discover new creators. So if you listen to the podcast, I just did an episode about this on designs, but specifically we'll chat Starbucks and specifically cups and Starbucks designs. So yes, it's not illegal it has to be over a certain amount for it to be illegal and be counterfeit and be prosecuted criminally. However, they can definitely sue you for trademark infringement, possibly copyright infringement. So those would all be civil lawsuits, and that's when they could sue you for a lot of money. Unless you have a proper license, which is permission, then you cannot sell Starbucks or any other brand without the brand's permission. That's the short and sweet of it. Like there's no, I changed it up 30%, so it's okay. Or, I bought this commercial license on Etsy, it's okay. No, the people on Etsy don't have a commercial license to sell you. Trust me, Starbucks is not on Etsy selling these licenses. So if it's Starbucks, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, any other brand on Etsy, most likely it's a dupe. You're going to get in trouble for it. So just steer clear of all of that. Even Disney, you don't want to be selling Disney either. So make sure that you're steering clear of all of these other brands. It doesn't matter how big they are. If they are a brand, it's infringement. It can be trademark infringement. It could be copyright infringement, depending on what it is. But you want to steer clear of this because that is how you can get sued for a lot of money. Okay, so that's my first Q&A episode. I would love your thoughts. If you have questions, drop them on Instagram, drop them on TikTok. I want to try this some more. So let me know your specific questions and I'll do my best to answer them here on the podcast. All right, I'll see you guys later. Here at Legalpreneur, we're committed to providing a supportive legal community for all business owners. I know how scary the legal stuff can be. If you found this information helpful, I would be so grateful if you could share it with a fellow business owner. And quite frankly, it doesn't cost anything to rate, review, or subscribe to the show. Your support helps me reach more listeners, which allows me to support more business owners in their entrepreneurial journey. Have any questions or comments about the show? Feel free to drop me a line on Instagram. I promise I read all of the messages and comments. And if you want to be a guest on the show or know someone that would make a great guest, simply fill out our application form and a team member will reach out if we think it's a good fit. I'll see you in the next episode.